There's 4 things you have to train your horse with the neck rope. That's to turn both directions, left and right, stop and back. I keep the bridle on at all times while I'm teaching my horse to steer with that neck rope. Of course, as well as with my leg aids, is controlling the majority of the horse. So you work the rein and the neck rope at the same time. Of course, you do all your work at the walk before you trot and before you canter. So watch me use my rein and my neck rope. I'm going to go left, and I'm just going to use it in an action where the rein goes against the neck rope at the same time, that neck rein, and then back the other direction. And my horse turns to the right as I'm using my rein and neck rope at the same time. Then, when my horse is turning well, of course, you have to have stop, and all my horses know the word whoa too, and I'm using my rein and neck rope at the same time. After you stop, each time you stop, back a few steps. That'll help your horse stop, but it'll also help for your horse, that neck rope when it's in the bottom, that's the neck, that's what you need the most if you start to lose control, is to slow that horse down. Keep in mind that my reins are in front of the neck rope, and if I needed a little bit more response, I'd move the neck rope up further on the neck. The horse gets a little more sensitive as you get closer to the throat latch with that neck rope than it does down the base of the neck. So when my horse responds very well to steer both left and right, stop and back, using the neck rope and rein together at the walk, now we're ready to move to the trot. As you're perfecting your training with the neck rope and your reins at the same time at your walk and trot work, I also want to do a forehand turn. I want my horse to do turn on the haunches or a pivot, and I want him to yield. So right now I'm doing a turn on the forehand, moving the hindquarters to the right. I'm using the neck rope and the rein at the same time. I'm going to do a turn on the haunches to the left, using the rein and the neck rope. And then I'm going to do some yielding. Let me move into a different position. I also want to have that yielding because, again, when my horse moves sideways, it's a guideline of me using more legs than reins. But at the same time, it gives me another piece of that training where I'm using my neck rope and the reins to help guide the guideline as I'm doing the little maneuver and moving sideways, or we call yielding. So you should be able to do both ways very, very easily. Turn on the forehand, turn on the haunches, and you're yielding with the neck rope and the reins at the same time before you take that bridle off. If your horse has done very well with your walk and trot work and can do those maneuvers very well, you're ready to move on to the canter. However, before you go to the canter, I like to do the lengthening trot because it's more similar to the canter. You're covering ground, you're at a faster speed, you can lose your balance easier or the timing of your aids. You're going to use all of that to what you're going to need for your canter. So another exercise I'm going to do is I'm also going to stop and back at each quarter of that circle. This gets my horse going forward quickly. This gets my horse to slow down and stop if I would ever need those brakes without that bridle. So let me move to the trot and a forward trot. Whoa. Back up a few steps. Rein, the neck rope and the rein, and go forward and stop. Oh, and back a few steps and then forward. Very good. Oh, stop and back a few steps and forward. Good. Now we're ready for the canter. I'm going to go ahead and try to pick my lead up in between those cones. My new direction, and again using my neck rope and rein at the same time. Ooh. Good. Back a few steps. Okay, my left lead canter, I'll do that through the walk and guiding the reins and the neck rope at the same time. Now, of course, at all times with the canter, it requires more of the leg aids, whoa, and back up a few steps, than it does your walk and trot work because you're covering more ground. Now, you got to remember the importance for yourself is to always stay centered so you're balanced on your horse. But with the canter work, it's even more obvious. There's no different in the leg cues. It all is the same, but it's that much more important that the leg cues are used and the horse responds to them so that when you guide with that neck rope and reins, it's going to work. Remember, a horse moves away from pressure with your leg aids. So anytime that I want to move my horse to the right, my left leg aid. Anytime I want to move my horse to the left, my right leg aid. So whether it's keeping my curve rounded, so he's not cutting into the left or right, cutting into the right, or if I want to go straight, my horse starts going to the right, I'm going to use my right leg to bring it back straight. If I want to turn left, my right leg does that. But if I don't want him to turn left really quick, then my left leg's got to be on contact as I use my right leg to turn. So let's go back to the canter and beware of the importance that I'm using my leg aids, even though it's pretty unnoticeable what I'm doing. Okay, I pick up the left lead canter from my walk. My left leg's on, right leg's turning, staying centered and balanced. My left leg's on, keep him out on the circle. My right leg is turning. Stop, back a few steps. Keep him straight with your leg aids to back from when you're backing. Very good. Well done. Now also, again, I want those maneuvers down, so I'm going to also play with the turn on the haunches or the pivot. And now I've just got to use the neck rope in the base of the neck and on the outside so he doesn't walk forward, but he moves sideways. Very good there. And then to come back, turning to the right, using my left leg, the neck rope on the left side of his neck, and touching the base of the neck so he doesn't go forward. Very nice there. Now I'm going to go back to that figure 8. And again, what I'm demonstrating here can be several weeks of working with this. And I'm going to lengthen the trot. I'm going to go back to that little segment that I did before to stop, whoa, and back up. Now, if I get that kind of response, that's telling me I can have the confidence in the near future to do my work at the canter. I'm going to stop here. Whoa. Very good. A few steps back. Very good. Now, just to give me again some more assurance, I'm going to do a little yielding to the right. And the yielding means he goes sideways, but a little bit of forward motion at the same time. So there I need a little support with the neck rope underneath the neck. And as I'm yielding to the left, that neck rope against the left side of his neck slightly as he moves off my right leg. Well done. Okay. Now, if your horse is doing those very well, you're ready to go on and work at your canter work. Now, we'll go to the right. Responded very well to my seat and my leg aids.